healthcare organizations, and coaches industry executives. A best selling, award winning author and global speaker, Neo has been recognized as one of modern healthcare's top 25 innovators and among Black leaders worldwide, top 100 Black women leaders. She is a passionate advocate for healthcare transformation and personal empowerment. She is from United States of America. So that is the introduction of Neo. And so yes, the stage is all yours. Good luck.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. What a great time for us all to get together as women and have the opportunity not only to celebrate this beautiful month of women empowerment and women history, but also women's scale as we are transforming the world. You know, it's so many things that we need to talk about, but I wanted to focus on celebrating the achievement of women and talk about how we can go further in scaling how we transform the world. And to do so, I want to give you a small presentation about where women stand now and where we're headed. If you could put the slides in presentation mode, I would greatly appreciate it. And if we could go to the first slide. The next one, please. So women, one of the things that we need to know as entrepreneurs is that we are not alone. We're not alone at all. We are vibrant, we are strong, and we are 38% of the businesses in the world. We're 31% of the small to medium businesses and 5 to 10% of the larger scale enterprises. And you're saying to yourself, well, those numbers are okay, but that just means that men have such more power than we do. Well, let me tell you this. That may be true, but it is because we have not settled on a few truths that we need to deal with. Opportunity is not our issue. Women are dynamic, and women have over 274 million startups globally are done by women. That's 274 million startups in 2025, leading into 26. That is nothing to sneeze at. That is power. So opportunity is not our issue. Courage is not our issue because we are leaning forward. And then we have a good 139 million established businesses above that 274 million. So altogether, we are 400 million businesses globally. So we have the courage. But our number one problem with that courage is we put our own ceiling on ourselves. And when I say that is because our barrier is the fear for asking for more. We are the hardest workers. You see, women, when we start out, even as children, we are given responsibility from the moment of birth. The first thing they give us is a little doll. And all of a sudden, we are responsible for that doll and we are nourishing that doll. We are keeping the viability of that doll as if it was a child. The older we get, we learn how to take care of a household. We learn how to take care of children. We have such intellect that we find the areas that we are intelligent and we are capable of. And we learn to flourish in those areas. And then, oh my goodness, we have ideas. So we do the ideas and we create as women. And we're unstoppable. But there is one thing. We continue to ask for permission. So we know the opportunity and we cross the road on that opportunity. We know the courage. We are making the changes in industry, but our biggest issue is we have fear. And we are designed to give trust, but not trust in ourselves. What we're going to talk about is how we can change that into a different framework and start building ourselves so that we are the unstoppable truth that we are, women that are going to transform this world. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide, please. Entrepreneurship does not fail because leadership. Now, here's the deal. What we're going to be talking about here is not leading others, it's about leading yourself. Reality is, we give our control away in the governance structure because we are used to a patriarchal governance structure. We listen to either a father, we listen to a boss that most of the time is male. We know that 65% of the time, your boss is going to be a man. So the likelihood you have served under some male. So it is natural that you, as a leader, you want to get the acceptance from that male. And this is not male bashing. This is just giving the lens of how we behave as women because of the state that we are placed in. But here's the truth, the unvarnished truth. Our innovation is our power and is our voice. And when we stop looking forward to others' acceptance and start leading ourselves by accepting ourselves, we are not creating disruption. We're creating newness and innovation. And when we lead and bring forth our product, it is a newness. It is the opportunity. So if we can change our mind of not trying to be accepted by others, but first accepting ourselves, then we can lead ourselves into going beyond that glass ceiling, that limited belief that we have set for ourselves. You see, if we don't do that, we keep seeking that inclusion, but the inclusion doesn't work if you don't have the authority to make the decisions, the authority to lead your business, the authority to get the financials that you need in order for that business to scale and thrive. When we look at PE firms, only 1% to 2% of the dollars are given to women. Now, I will tell you, a lot of people will say, oh my goodness, that's terrible. Yes, it is. But a lot of it has to do with our limited belief that we can't get that money. And I challenge you to go after the money. I challenge you to do something that you are capable of doing beyond being an innovator, but ask for the money. I spend a lot of time with PE firms and capital markets. And I will tell you in presentations, it's about 4 to 5% that are done by women. Even when I have women-owned businesses, I find that they let a male present for them. That is limiting yourself. That is not giving you yourself the authority that you need in order to get those funds. And the reality is, it is also impacted because of generational beliefs. You see, women in the generation of boomers and Gen X have been conditioned to seek always not only acceptance, but also to be quiet in order for them to have a seat at the table, to be in that table only as a server, not as an equal. So what we have to do as women is look into the minds of our millennials and Gen Zs that understand that they have a voice. We have to join them in walking into rooms, understanding that we have the value, the innovation, and the intuition to be able to come in attentively and use our voice to ask for the money that is due us for what we have created. The failure is not leading yourself. The failure is not what you have created. It's letting it be given to someone else. Now, one example of that is the fact that 34% of women owned businesses are actually the owner is pushed out when the business is ready to scale. If we can go to the next slide so we can discuss that point. Now, why do we keep having that situation that when that business has now grown to the viability past the first 3 years, do we have women struggling in their own businesses? They now have staff. It's no longer founder led. It is now a business that has men and women working together side by side, but they keep pushing us out. And by the way, only 20% of men own businesses that get to a scale that it is in the medium scales get pushed out of their businesses. So we have a gap of 14%. But the reason that gap happens is because letting go of your control, where you basically are taking and not understanding that you have to evolve with the business. And the evolution of you is what's going to make you able to stay in the seat, scale the business, and keep it growing. Here is the thing. When you start a business as a founder, it is an idea. You are selling that idea. You are creating that idea, and then you bring it to market. That is a beginning. That is something that is very tactical, technical task. You as a leader, to get that task to become scalable and in growth, now you have to say, this can no longer be repeated and grown only by my talents. I must teach others. They have to be able to do it. And now my job as a leader, I am growing into someone that is now selling the business, talking about the business, getting sponsorship, getting dollars. That is a major leap from a creator. From a creator to someone that is selling the thought about the business, talking to other places so that they can put your product in their store. If you're doing consulting, talking to places so that they can white label your consulting, all of that has a big transition. And then you go into the next level that you are asking for money to grow the business. And that's when it gets complex. And I ask you, are you willing to grow with your business so nobody pushes you out? Here's the thing, it's going to get very complex for you, but you have to have the power to distribute yourself and ethically maintain yourself with the truth of your business, but get others to invest in your business by creating a trust paradigm related to the services and products that you have and your ability to keep it going and expanding because you can see it beyond that initial idea. Now, I have a question here that has been put out. How can leaders build real trust with entrepreneurs? Well, here's the deal. It's really about what we're talking about. Is if the entrepreneur moves out of just going into the deep ideation and the product, and then is relating to how to keep that product as a business that has scale and has a vision beyond just bringing the product to fruition. You see, when you go and you're doing a presentation to a PE firm, the PE firm is not questioning your idea. What they're questioning is your vision and your ability to scale that idea. So trust is when they see that you as an entrepreneur is walking into that room understanding that idea first. Second, how do I sustain it? How do I grow it? And what is my competition and how do I go above and beyond my competition? So trust is built based on the vision, the influence that that leader, that entrepreneur brings to the table. And then, of course, the follow through. The other thing is failure is power. So when you fail, it's how you got up from that failure. Because your PE firm is going to see how you reacted. Did you ignore it or do you have a plan of attack? The long term uncertainty happens no matter what. There was always going to be uncertainty because today our markets are volatile, industry is volatile. However, your ability to be able to shift and pivot shows you who the leader is, shows you your ability to scale. Another question is, what is the biggest leadership shift needed for sustainability and growth? And that is truly the leader must keep growing. The leader must embrace chaos and learn from it quickly. If you want to sustain your business, you must put ego to rest. That is essential in order to be able to move that business forward and move yourself from the category of a leader in continuous growth and also a leader that sees new opportunities that expands the footprint of that company. That is so magnetically essential for you to be able to lead and grow as a leader. Now, if we go to the next slide, this is where we spend some time on those two questions and understanding what are the keys? How do we keep it going when we're trying to scale? Trust. Trust when there is nothing there. When you are selling and your business is in turmoil because maybe something didn't work out, you still trust and you have the discipline to move forward even when it's not visibly there. That trust will be seen by others and they will invest, they will work with you because they know you will do everything possible to make that situation viable. Control is the enemy of scale. When you are trying to hold everything under you and you cannot have others help you and understand that in business, it's not an island unto yourself, that you must ask for help. And when you ask for help, it shows your strength and it shows your ability to see the gaps that are in your way. Let go of the control, open the door to authority inclusion. You have the authority to include those that you need to be successful. Then is understand that you are not there to be a performer. The performance is in the beginning. That's in your ideation. That's when you first started the business. But once you have created that path of that business, and that instrument is in stores, or that service is in houses, is in hospitals, is in wherever it is your service is set up to be, you must move from performer into leader. And at that time, it is important that your people see your vision, because that leader is the one that has the vision, and that leader is the one that is going to bring that business to have the money and the ability to scale. And last but not least, sustainability requires that you lead yourself first. Invest in yourself. The strongest leaders read a book every week. Read a leadership book. Read a book about their trade. They start their day reading. They start their day growing. Learn when to speak in the room. You do not need to over explain anything, but you need to be able to speak with authority at the right time. A true entrepreneur understands that they're being watched every minute. So they understand and they deliver the information they need to deliver succinctly and intentionally. So everything that you do it with intention. Everything that you say it understanding that everyone is watching. And it is an open door for you to take your business to the next level. The other thing I'd like to say to leaders: talk to people, practice your sale. When you're in the airport, talk to the person next to you. You never know who is going to be the catalyst for your next growth. Make sure that you are the biggest billboard for your business if you want to scale this business. And I'm not the only one that believes this, because the projections are for 2030 to 2035 that 50% of businesses will be owned by women. 50% of new entrepreneurs will be women. So, ladies, let's stand up. Let's lead ourselves. Let's scale our businesses and be the unstoppable selves that we are. Last slide. If this, if you could go to the last slide, please. If this resonated with you and you're interested in getting more information on how to scale your business and how to lead yourself, please connect with my channels. And thank you for this time. Oh, there is one question that I didn't address. What does true inclusion in leadership look like? True inclusion in leadership is when there is authority associated to that inclusion. Having people of all ethnicities and having people of different sexes in a room is not enough. It's giving them a voice and giving them the authority to make a decision. So if you're not doing that, you have not embraced true inclusion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Dianka, for sharing your wonderful presentation with the for Virtual Summit 2026. And we truly appreciate your contribution to this event. I hope you have a lot of questions. You have answered a few, right? So, yeah. Did you answer this question? How can leaders build real trust? And
Yeah, I
what is,
answered I
yeah,
answered all the questions during the presentation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for answering all the questions and taking your time and sharing your fantastic presentation in this event. We truly appreciate for your valuable time, and please do join our next sessions and encourage other speaker sessions as well. And you have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
My ex cannot take you from you.
You're too funny.
Shall I leave? Do you want me to leave, or shall I constantly look at you?
I'll get a copy of the recording, right?
Yes, definitely.
Well,
Bye.
have fun in Paris. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.